This is the Cowboys at the Broncos, and I want to say thank you, Dallas Cowboys, for being relevant to make this game interesting, to have a very good offense against a very good defense, because this is also our Haas fight of the week. Haas fight for one side of the ball because Cowboys Broncos defense. Yes, the over-under of this game is 50.5 because Cowboys defense. But the Broncos are 3.5 point favorites at Mile High. We're going to start with the Haas fight side. Cowboys O, Broncos D. Good on good. What is grabbing your attention, Chuck?
Oh, I don't even know where to start. I mean, there's a lot to pull out here. But where I went originally when I was starting to look at this was the week 2 game between the Broncos and the Colts, because I think that's kind of an interesting game to go back to now that we have all this information about where the Colts are. Right, because
Colts offense is good.
This is really, really, really strong. One of the best offenses in NFL history, apparently. More points than the 2007 Patriots. I went back into that game knowing now, okay, that's one of the best offenses in the league. Absolutely dominant run game. I've said I think Jonathan Taylor should be getting some MVP hype just for what they've accomplished on the ground this season. And the Broncos defense actually did a pretty good job on them looking back. Now, the Colts, they still scored 29 points. They averaged almost 3 points per drive. And I think knowing what we know now, looking back on that, that's really not as egregious maybe as it felt in the time, because they are, one of the best offenses in the league. And they held the Colts rushing game to a 38.7 success rate. So if you just look at where Dallas has kind of been able to crush teams up front, maybe last year you would have been a little bit less solid in your belief that the Broncos, even as good as they were on defense, could go toe-to-toe with an offensive line that's this big and this physical, because we saw Buffalo did to them. We saw Baltimore did to them, and they kind of moved around like child's play. But if the run defense is actually going to be credible enough to slow down the offensive line and, put Dak in more situations, which is still tough because Dak's been incredible this year, then I think you can get to the point where you can pin your ears back and try to make them a little bit more one-dimensional. Now, you still have to win your matchups. We're against CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and all those weapons on the outside, but you're still looking at PS2, and Riley Moss and some of those guys with the fronts that they have. You just got to slow down the run game and try to make them pass first, I think. And they can do it because they have slowed down what is apparently one of the best rushing games in the history of the NFL.
That we know now, that we can say that. We know now. We know that now. No, and it's a great point because the Cowboys' run offense is really good. 3rd in rushing DVOA, 10th in success rate. They get to it a lot of different ways. And when you go against this Broncos defense, it's all right, what can we do? The Giants gave them a little good film as far as how to run on them, but then the Giants also kept running this toss play, and they worked the first time, and then I think they ran it 3 more times, and I got absolutely nuked the other 3 times. So it was as the game went along, kind of lost a little bit of it. Cooper Beebe might be back for the Cowboys as well, the center, and the Cowboys are, with that run game, they can just do so much. And I'm curious what Clayton Adams cooks up, because it's just kind of all right, what's your version? How do you go against this Broncos defense? But you can even see this on the YouTube page. Cowboys are averaging over 30 points per game. The Broncos are 1st in success rate allowed. The Cowboys offense is allowing the 2nd fewest sacks, going against a defense that has not most sacks. So 2nd lowest sack rate versus not most sacks. Broncos are 1st in red zone efficiency. Cowboys are 9th. Broncos are 1st and 3rd down efficiency. Cowboys are 7th. So just good on good, wherever you look. Yeah. So it's all right, if I were the Cowboys, how do you attack this Broncos defense? And maybe this is the one game just standing out to me that I watched recently, but when Wendell Robinson for the Giants is going off against you, I'm going to pay attention to that. When Wendell Robinson is catching passes every which way with 29-inch arms, all right, what happened here? And it's a relativity thing. It's that I'm not saying this player's bad, but relative to his teammates, he's the lesser player, and that's Jaquan McMillan, who is the slot player for the Broncos. And so the Broncos play a ton of man coverage. You know who lines up in the slot a ton for the Cowboys? CeeDee Lamb. So to me, it's all right, the Broncos are going to put PS2 on Pickens. I could see that all day. Yeah. All right, are you going to put Riley Moss and have him travel with CeeDee? I don't know. They might. But if they don't, all right, you have CeeDee versus Jaquan McMillan. And McMillan right now, so this again, next gen stats, EPA per target. He's allowed 0.15. All right, what does that mean? All right, it's ninth among slot defenders that have 100 or more coverage snaps. Ninth worst, I should say. Riley Moss and Pat Surtain, it's negative 0.12. So when quarterbacks target PS2 or Riley Moss, it's negative expected points. Target separation, this is average target separation for them. For McMillan, when he's targeted, it's 3.1. When it's Moss, it's 2.1. When it's Surtain, it's 1.6. See where the player strength's there. Open percentage is a stat for Next Gen Stats has. So it's when they are getting targeted, how open is the receiver when he was targeted. McMillan, 36.7%. Moss, 13%. PS2, 10%. So essentially triple the rate of PS2. And I looked at this kind of league wide as like, is that bad? It's more like just average, for a slot player. But he's actually like a little above average for a slot player. But relative to PS2 and Riley Moss, it's like, all right, well, that's the weakness of this defense. So I think they're going to run it. Like Schottenheimer, is not afraid to run it. I think that's a strength of this team. But I do think that we might see a big CeeDee game if they do match McMillan with CeeDee in the slot. And if they don't, if they're kind of just going like, no, we're going to have Riley Moss travel with that. Is this my guy, Ryan Flournoy? Does he get going? Is it a Turpin game? Like, is it a Jake Ferguson game? Is it the auxiliary players for the Cowboys that have to step up in the passing game? Dak's been a freaking machine this year. He's building an MVP candidacy right now if the Cowboys keep rolling. So it's really fun when you have good on good like this. It's like, all right, Clayton Adams, Dak Prescott, Brian Schottenheimer, how do you think you have to attack this Broncos defense? Because everyone has to come up with their own flavor against it because they challenge you. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty geeked up for this matchup. Thank you, Cowboys offense, for being very relevant.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I'll add back to maybe some of the running game stuff is basically outside of because I was just running back there, and I don't want Colts fans to kill me because Jonathan Taylor did have 165 yards in that game. But on a play-by-play basis, outside of 168, 70-yard rush, they did an okay job just kind of staying alive in front of what is one of the best offensive lines in running game in the league. And outside of that, Saquon Barkley got stifled. Basically, every other team that they've played has got absolutely punched in the mouth against the run. So, I think they're probably at a similar-ish point as last year, maybe a little bit better, where if you have maybe that elite running back talent or that elite, ground game component like a Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, you can get them. But Dallas does not have that, that exact piece, even though some of the running backs have had a nice year. So I think this is going to have to be a game that I've grown to enjoy watching, where Dak has just kind of played hero ball. And why not? You see some of the throws he's made this year? If they had any semblance of a defense, he'd be top MVP voting.
And it's a defense that the Broncos defense that challenges you in man. So, which is again, baseball's on my mind, maybe even with the Mariners losing, but it's a power pitcher versus power hitter. It's all right. We're going to throw 102 at you. Can you hit it? Like that? It's awesome. It's the best. It's like some of the most fun stuff. It's mano y mano. So I know I'm with you. I just kind of I really like the Cowboys offense or run game, and I respect it. But the thing is, it's not like the Broncos are slouches in the area. Like even against the Giants, it's like Giants had some nice runs, but then as the game went along, it was like those became less nice. It became they adjusted very well to it. So it's like if you do run, you have to get after them early before they start adjusting to what you're trying to do, which again is a sign of a great defense. Vance Joseph has adjusted as well as anybody. Have multiple instances of him this year adjusting in the second half. The Eagles game's the best example. So this is a great coaching side, a great quarterback versus defense side. The Broncos don't really have any weaknesses on the defense, maybe a little at linebacker, but it's not like they're bad. Hufanga has been incredible at safety for them. They got Jonah Ellis is coming back for them. Like they got 7 D linemen and edges that they could just throw at you. So yeah, this is why it's a hoss fight, because it's just going to be an absolute battle on this side of the ball. Going to the other side though, I don't know. a little bit of a reverse Haas fight here. I should have queued Stone in. We could have had a Haas fight and a reverse Haas fight in the exact same game to cue that soundbite. But no, Broncos offense, Cowboys defense. Can this be a get right game for the Broncos offense? What do you think, Chuck?
It should be.
I hope.
Be. Well, hold on. You can't get right game. I mean, they were incredible last week. They scored 33 points.
Oh my God,
they were
dude! I watched that game back.
What are you talking about?
That was one of the worst games I've watched back in all 22, and both teams scored more than 30 points. And it was like it was blood ugly. But yeah, continue.
I mean, I was just laughing watching that Jackson Dart drive, because as soon as he crossed the end zone, I was like, people are going to forget immediately that he tried to 4 picks. On this exact same drive before. Yep.
Just on everybody. And as soon as he crossed the line, everybody saw a flash. They forgot what happened.
If one Broncos defender catches one of those passes, the conversation is completely different. But you get a PI and then you get a touchdown. That's how the Disney story goes. But this game, look, if they can't beat up the Cowboys defense, then you should really be hitting the red alert alarms. And even where the Broncos offense is, I think it's been disappointing this year, but they're not the worst offense in the league. They're 14th in EPA per play, 27th in success rate on offense, but it's the Cowboys defense. I don't really know what else to say besides that. They don't have the Cowboys defense. They don't have any players worth talking about, really. It looks like Kenny Clark is going to be limited for this game, so whatever. Just hope that Dak can keep you alive if you want to win this.
I think what you mentioned, the EPA versus success rate, that's everything. Shoot, I feel like, don't want to be like a broken record, but like going against this version of a Sean Payton, Bo Nix, Broncos offense is survive the shot plays and you're good.
Yep.
Like that's it. You just have to survive those 4, 5, 6 designer plays. Because if you do, they can't really consistently move the ball. The run game feels like it improves as the game goes along because they adjust. But it's not like it's like the craziest run game I've ever seen. It's well blocked, well schemed and everything, but it's just not very explosive. Dobbins is Dobbins. He's fine. And then passing game wise, just anyone that's like kind of like, oh, you're so mean on a Broncos offense. Watch what they do on second down. If you're going to just focus on one thing with this Broncos offense, anytime they have, so this is also, it's very, football, especially the NFL, is very situational. Second down, it's 2 versions of second down. 2nd and 1 to 6 yards to go is considered normal down distance. That's considered a run down technically. 2nd and 7 and longer is considered 2nd and long. And it's usually its own category, how coaches scheme it, both sides of the ball. And when I watch the Broncos offense, whenever they're in that 2nd and long, because they usually have a 1 or 2 yard run or an incomplete pass on first down, they just run the same exact concept over and over, which is they'll build an overloaded side. It's a man versus zone read. So keep it nice and simple for the quarterback. It's a gimme kind of play where they run a swing to one side, which is the zone beater, and they have a bunch of blockers, and then they isolate Cortland Sutton, to run like a slant, an out, or a go. And they run it over, a bunch of teams run it. I'm not like saying they're the only team that runs it, but they really run it. And they really run it on second down. And I looked it up. Bo Nix on 2nd and 7+, his relative air yards to sticks, so how far he's throwing it, air yards to where the first down marker is on 2nd and long, is negative 6.5 yards, which means that it's a lot of stuff underneath. And this was effective, and you can use it as a changeup or as a way to get a gimme throw. But when you lean, this is why guardrails or training wheels have limitations over time, is defenses just go, oh, here comes the swing again. All right, let's go clothesline his ass. Like that, watch the Giants against these swing routes. They just could not wait. They're like, oh, here it comes again. Here it comes. Boom, 5 guys running at the ball and like just depleting guys. Like it's so that's that, the Giants defense has actually they have a little something to it. I know the end wasn't great for them, but they got some team speed and the tackling is whatever, but that's not the worst defense in the world. But I mean, like this Cowboys defense, it's like, all right, if that's all you're going to do on second down, all right, if we're playing rock, paper, scissors and you're throwing rock every time, all right, I can at least figure that out. And so it's just, it just needs more layers. And that's where it's this disconnect where people are like, oh, I've seen some Broncos fans blaming Sean Payton. And like Sean Payton could literally call anything in the playbook. Like I've seen his playbook. His playbook is this big. If it's a PDF file, it'll take up your whole computer. And it honestly, like, that's why I almost get frustrated about it. It's like, there's a reason they're calling these limited plays. They're not trusting Bo Nix to drop back and read the whole field. Against the Cowboys defense, that over time you can find a hole, especially against their zone coverages that Eberflus runs. Like, all right, like, because that's the way to beat it, is drop back and throw it against them. But if you can't really do that consistently, all right, what are you going to do? Are they just going to run the ball over and over? I don't know. Like, I'm curious where the Broncos go from here, because I think there is some frustration, even if they did win that game. But I do think Sean Payton's licking his chops about looking at those Cowboys linebackers and some other aspects of this. Like, they're going to get some points and they're going to get a couple shot plays. It's just, I think there's going to be some 3-and-out, some frustrating drives maybe for this Broncos offense, because that's kind of what they've been doing this year. But yeah, focus on second downs, I guess, is the go ahead. Third downs in the first game, second downs in this game. We'll get to first down probably in another game, what we're going to talk about later. But final predictions: Broncos 3.5-point favorites at home.
Yeah, I think the Broncos win. I think some of the flaws within the Broncos offense are real and will impact them down the road, but probably not this week. Right.
It's not a dangerous matchup for them. Like, the Giants defense, they suck them a little bit because they have some pass rush and stuff. Yeah, the Cowboys defense. Yeah. I watched it back, the Commanders game, and I was like, I was ready to go like, oh, they improved. And I watched it. I'm like, oh God, it's like, guys are running free everywhere. they did some nice things, but it wasn't like a very encouraging performance. Siobhan Ravel started practicing again. Remember him from East Carolina. So I'm curious if he gets going. I'm not sure if he does. Overshown started practicing as well. Trayvon Diggs is out with a concussion. I should mention that those kind of players as well. My heart, my gut is saying Cowboys here, though, because I just feel like the offense will get rolling. But I am going with the Broncos as well. I'm going to go. How about this? This is my compromise: Broncos win, Cowboys cover. That's all. I'll cover it right there. I do think that the Cowboys offense will have some moments, but it's tough.
Yeah, I feel like I've watched Sean Payton for way too many years intently with the Falcons stuff. This is the matchup that he just kills. Like, oh, we've got a horrible defense. Excuse me, I didn't mean to curse like that, but yeah, we've got a horrible defense. I know I've had a couple curse words that actually kind of surprised me. I was like, did I just say that? So I got a little comfortable there. Because Sean's looking at this. Oh, we're going to shred. We are going to shred. And I know. And Dallas, they can do it, but I don't know. I think this Broncos defense is a little better than last year, and Dallas' defense, it's so bad. The only thing they're like above average at is fourth downs and pressure rates occasionally. That's about it. Fourth down conversions.
It's when you look at all the units. No offense to special teams, but all right, Cowboys offense very good. Broncos defense very good. Broncos offense but Cowboys defense crap. Like, so it's like, all right, I'm betting against the team that has the worst unit, and that's the Cowboys defense. So that's kind of the logic here.